Hi, this is Chris with the R2 Builders Group. This is a brief demo of my new CF-3 sound system with some custom programming that I've been working on recently. Probably a good idea to maybe briefly go over the setup here that I have. I'm using the ACS CF-3 sound system, and that's the black box at the bottom here. There's a CF card here that I have pre-programmed with some sounds and some programming. On top there's a couple of relay boards, remote RF relay boards, a 12 channel and a 4 channel that will trigger sounds and control volume. And of course I have some speakers here set up for the demo. In addition to the basic setup that will go in the R2, I actually also have it connected to a serial cable, so you can actually see some diagnostic messages that will actually come out of the system. Typically, in your R2, you wouldn't have it wired into a PC, but you'll see in a moment why I have it connected. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, and then obviously we have the remotes as well. We have two different types of remotes. A lot of people are more familiar with the 12 channel. You just press the buttons and it will select your sounds based on which channel on the relay board it's wired into. And then I also have a 4 channel remote. No reason why this couldn't be a 12 or an 8 channel remote, but this is what I had handy, and initially I bought it just to control volume up and down, but then I've utilized the two other buttons on it for some other functions. So let's boot this thing up. I'll set the camera up so you can see the diagnostic screen on my laptop, and when I start the boot sequence, you'll see how quickly it actually comes alive compared to a standard CF-3 system that our builders typically use. So that's it. It's detected the card and it's booted my program. Hopefully, can you hear that? Let me turn up the volume a little bit. And that's just to let me know that it's working, and I can just press any button on my remote and it'll just cancel out any sound, and that goes for any function on this unit now with the new programming. So if it's currently playing a sound, just hit a button and it'll stop, or to cycle through to the next one. So I have two main banks. I think that I'll probably use mostly is some button 1 and 2. Button 1 just cycles through what I call generic sounds. So that's R2 just making just general sounds. Button 2 are more chatty or chirpy sounds. So that's him, maybe when you're interacting with him, with people. Button 3 I have set up for sad sounds, and it'll just cycle through. On the generic and the chatty sounds, I think there's about 20 of each, or 20 or so of each, and they'll just cycle through on them. On the sad ones, I think there's 3 set up. Of course, the scream, and then I think there's 2 whistles that I have configured right now. I think there's 1 or 2 others that I could put in there, but these are the 2 that I like. And it's pretty easy to add extra blocks of sounds into each of these buttons that cycle through. You can look at the code, and it's pretty self-explanatory how to do that. You'll also notice the file names that are scrolling by on the screen are no longer hex names, but they're full names that you would recognize or would easily be able to edit or move around whatever you need to do. Let's short circuit. And then the last 6 buttons, so that's 1 through 6, the last 6 buttons are configured more with sounds that R2 typically don't make, either music or the layer sound, like so on button 7. I have that configured. Now, so the last 7 buttons are a little more special in that on the, I'm not sure if we can move the camera a little bit. So on the 4 channel thing, I have 2 additional buttons. So A and B do the volume. Let me just actually set something off, and we'll listen to the volume. So I can turn the volume down. and then turn it back up. And that was on button A and B. But then if I was to press button C on the remote, that would actually change the mode of the 7 or 6 sound banks or sound buttons to actually flip over to another 6 sounds. So let me put the camera back down and you'll see that. So I press C. As R2 acknowledges that I actually flipped into an alternate mode, and I can move back again into mode 1. But let's leave him in mode 2. I'll turn up the volume a little bit. And now when I press button 7, remember that used to play the short layer message.
Hello, Kenobi. Years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle.
Now it's playing the long message.
I regret that I am unable to present my father.
And button 8 is dance program in mode 2. But if I was to flip back to mode 1, press button 8, is Star Wars Disco. And we're still in mode 1 right now, so I'll press 9, that's Cantina. 10 is Vader's theme. 11, the Fox opening credits. And 12, Star Wars theme. So let's go back to mode 2. We've already heard the dance program from the interactive droid. 9 is now the alternate Cantina music. 10 is something different. I'm not sure how long I'll keep that on, but it's kind of something fun to put on there. Oop. 11 now is mapping onto the end throne room's music. And 12 is now the Imperial attack. And all these things are pre-programmable, or you can change the programs or the files, the WAV files, and it's pretty easy to do that. And if I was just to press one of the generic buttons at the top, it would just disable that. So then the final button and the final function that the new software allows me to do is, so if I press button D, it'll actually turn a random sequence on. So R2 will just basically cycle through, chirping away to himself at random intervals with random sounds. And I have the delay kind of short right now, so we can actually just see it coming by. So he'll either pick a generic sound, a chatty sound, and occasionally will whistle or throw in other random sounds. And this would be great if you were driving your R2 around and wanting to just concentrate on driving. Or even if he was just parked in the corner, maybe. So then if I was press D again, that would turn that off. Or if he was in that mode, doing random things, I can just go back and maybe trigger music, and that would just also disable the random sequence as well. So in summary, what we have here is a system that's built on a lot of the things that people have done in the past, utilizing the RF relays to do the remote triggering with sounds. What I've done is extended that and made it easier to add different blocks of sound and allow multiple buttons to have multiple sequences of sounds playing out. We also added remote volume control and also a random sound mode, so that if you didn't want to worry about having to press buttons and getting R2 to chat while you're driving around, or if he's sitting there in the corner while you're busy doing something else, you can just let him randomly go through a series of sounds. I also have multiple sound music banks now, easily selectable or toggled between. And of course, there's the separation of the generic sound and the chirpy chatty sounds, 2 different sound banks. Again, on the old remotes that people had configured, you could only have one dedicated button to sequence through either random sounds or a predefined order of sounds. So feel free to contact me. In the moment you'll see my website address, R2-D2.net, and send us an email, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions.